Good day, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Untold. And I'm yours, Fidelis Zamanga, your concerned African citizen. And I'm yet back again with another exciting episode. You know, I always love to share with my fellow African citizen some ideas on how we can make an extra living utilizing the small land that we have, utilizing small capital that we have. Then we should just share ideas to see how one can earn extra money. So I remember on the previous episode I mentioned about how easy it is for us as Africans to access land in Africa. So after doing that episode, I remember doing this other conversation with another gentleman, and he mentioned that it's very difficult to acquire land in Africa. Then I told him, you know what? Each and every family in Africa, we do have a place or a place where we call a makaya, kumusha, a rural house that we have. So it's not all about buying a farm, it's not all about buying a plot, but one can purchase a rural home, and usually rural home are very cheap. You can acquire 2.5 or 3 hectares, then you can start something there. So it's not about acquiring a farm or a plot, but however, it's not every business that require much land. There are so many people who are utilizing a very small space at the back of their house, and they are doing amazing stuff. And I remember today again in the morning, I spoke to this other gentleman who's based in Limpopo in South Africa, who's utilizing his back space of his house, and he took some amount of money from his salary, and he started planting fruit and vegetables at the back of his house, and he's doing very well and amazing job. And I think in the next episode we're going to have an interview with him so that he can share with us some ideas on how he managed to utilize a small amount of money that he had to start his fruit and veg business, and all the product that are in his shop. He is planting them at the back of his house. So it is clear that it's not every business or every farming activity that requires much land. So today, guys, I just want to share with you farming ideas that can make us financial free. So this first farming idea I want to share with you guys, I really wanted to make an episode about this farming concept only, but today I'm just going to share with you this idea amongst the rest of the ideas. So just stay tuned until the end of the video. Probably you're going to have, or you're going to learn, or you're going to say, I think I'm interested to do this. Then you can start your own farming business and earn extra cash. So right, the first farming idea that I feel like we can start in Africa that can give us, that can give you good money. You can start soybean farming. Soybean farming is a very lucrative business because when I was just doing a research about this, I've realized that one, it requires much land for you to start soybean business, but however it is a lucrative business because 13% of the products that are made from soybeans are for human consumption. For instance, we make chunks, we make powder milk, and a lot of product that can be made for human consumption from soya beans. But however, 83% of the remaining soybeans that we gain from our our farming activities globally, it is used for livestock feeds. So with the rise of livestock farmers here in Africa for the past 2 decades, you can see that producing livestock feed, it is a very lucrative business because in the township, in the rural area, people are engaging and are involved in livestock farming. So uh, having a farm and having soya beans is one of the products that you plant at your farm. It is a very lucrative business, and you can also add more value by what I've just mentioned, uh, making livestock feeds. So it is a very lucrative business, but however, it just requires much land to start. So the second point I want to mention, uh, it is it is in my heart. I remember I wanted to do an episode uh, about this product only because we really need it in farming. We really need it in our day-to-day consumption as humans. So it is sunflower farming. Sunflower, it is regarded as a cash crop product because um, in the day-to-day living of us human beings, we do use cooking oil. So just imagine having a large farm of sunflower. It's a very lucrative business that one can venture into, but however, it requires much land to venture into sunflower, and labor, it is really needed there. There is good returns in sunflower because number one, we can get cooking oil. We can get oil from sunflower, and oil is expensive, and it is used each and every day in our lives. We cook, we bake, we do all things with oil. Even restaurants, they require much oil so that they can make products for their customers, so it is needed. And number two, some confectionery products can be made also from sunflower. And number three, just imagine, we can make also livestock feeds from sunflower. I've seen a number of farmers, they plant sunflower at their farm, and they feed and the products to their livestock and stuff, and it is very healthy for livestock. So just having a big farm, if you do have land, adventure into a sunflower, it is regarded as a lucrative business. And I myself, I feel like one day, if I manage to acquire a very big land, I'm going to venture into this, because here in Africa, what's really needed face is food security. Having products, having plants that you feel like people need uses on the day to day runnings of their lives. So I'm gonna go to point number three, which is selling day old chicks. I feel like it's also one of the lucrative business that one can venture into right now in the period that we are living. Because if you see, for the past 2 decades, I've seen the huge rise of people who are venturing into livestock because of unemployment. A lot of people are utilizing a small space at the back of their houses to start a small projects, livestock projects. Probably it might be layers, it might be road runners, there might be broilers. People are utilizing small space at the back of their house. You might be going to work, but you just need to make an extra income. And seeing a lot of people are venturing into livestock. So having a business of producing day old chicks, it is a very lucrative business. But however, what you need a constant supply of power, because your incubator works with power. You need incubators. You also need um, people who will be helping you. They need to be there on the side to take care of the equipment, because as if power cuts and no one is there, if your incubator is not automated, you might run a loss, because they need, a fatal age, they need hit constantly, and they need to be turned constantly. But however, it is a very lucrative business, because like I've mentioned, there's a number of people who are venturing into livestock. And another thing is, people do eat meat every day, and chicken meat is also cheap. People eat eggs every day. Layers need to be made. So selling day old chicks for layers, selling day old chicks road runners, selling day old chicks for broilers, it is very a lucrative business to venture into. So it doesn't mean that you need to have a very large space, but just a small space. You can put your incubators there, then start earning money by doing a very good marketing for your business. So let's move to point number three. Point number three, I've realized that if you are financially okay, you can start greenhouse farming. You can put products like, there are people who are exporting flowers. They are planted in greenhouses, green peppers. There are a lot of products that can be planted in a greenhouse. So I know it's not all of us who can afford to have greenhouses, but if you are financially okay, you can have a greenhouse, then start producing farming products that grow very well in greenhouse. Even tomatoes, they do very well in greenhouse. So it is a very lucrative business to venture into if you can manage to have a greenhouse, then just say I need to specialize probably by exporting flowers. Flowers, they are really in much demand, especially outside of Africa. Here in Africa, they are needed, but yeah, I myself, I'm not a person who can just say let me go and buy a flower for what is, it's not in us. But outside of Africa, they are really needed there, and they are planted in greenhouse. And if you want to make products for human consumption, you can venture into tomatoes, you can venture into green peppers. They do very well in greenhouse. So like I've mentioned earlier, that if you are financially stable, you can have greenhouses and start making greenhouse products and extra. And I'm very happy seeing young people venturing into farming these days. It makes me really happy that now we have realized the worth of our land, the worth of our labor. We, for the so many decades, we have been just, our parents have just been going to work but not knowing the value of agriculture or farming, how it is in our lives. So I'm very happy seeing young people, especially on the internet, who are, I'm seeing, who are venturing into different types of farming activities. So let's move on to the next point, which is mushroom production. um Having a mushroom at your farm, or at the back place of your house, it is a very lucrative business, because it's not everyone who is in livestock or who is in farming who's doing mushroom, and they are in demand, especially in a lot of restaurants, in a lot of supermarkets, a lot of hotels. They need mushroom, but however, they need a little bit of good capital and knowledge. It is required, like so much knowledge is required for one to gain or to gather before you venture into mushroom, because there are a lot of cycles that are involved in the production or in the farming of mushrooms. So one, you need a good capital. Not much land is needed, but however, if you want to venture into mass production of a mushroom, that's when you might require much land. But however, labor is needed, and so much knowledge is needed before you venture into it. And also another point that I need to mention, I've seen a lot of people now have ventured into a farming of medicinal herbs, because I've realized so a number of African countries have regularized the production of marijuana. It's not only marijuana, but a number of pharmaceutical um, products that can be farmed at your, that one can farm, e.g. We have ginger, we have, like I've mentioned, marijuana, and a lot of products that can make, that can be produced for pharmaceutical purposes, that people are venturing into right now, and they are making good money out of it. So if you are someone who's interested in health and stuff, you can venture into something like that. But I myself, I would love to venture into livestock because I love meat, but I don't think I might venture into planning of medicinal herbs for pharmaceutical purposes. So we cannot speak about farming or farming or agriculture ideas that gives us money without mentioning livestock. um like I've mentioned, there are a lot of people right now I've seen who are venturing into poultry, but it's not about poultry only. There's goat farming, there's pig farming, there is a lot that we can do in the livestock world. I've seen a number of people are doing this kind of farming activities. And point number one, it is people do eat meat every day, so there's no way we can hide from livestock. Livestock is a very lucrative business for one to venture into. For instance, you might not need much land to start, you might not need a large capital to start. I can give you example. There are a lot of people that I know who ventured into road runner for free range. They started with very few, but because they keep providing eggs, they keep giving chicks and stuff. Now they acquire thousands of road runners without even buying feeds and what, just free range. So they are livestock. One can start livestock farming without even much money without even much land, but however earn a decent living out of it. That's something that I've seen a lot of young people are venturing into, and it makes me happy that we are realizing the worth of our labor, we are realizing the worth of our land, and we can also add value from our livestock production by probably opening a butchery in different locations. For instead of you buying meat from different farmers, you can get meat from your own mixed farm and take the meat to your own butchery, then make more money than just selling um, chicken to people surrounding your area. Then there's a lot that we can do in livestock. There's a lot, so many ways that one can make money in livestock. So yeah, there are so many farming ideas that we can talk about, but those I've mentioned, one can start today, and you can start in good money, you can start in a good living with them. So let's move forward to the next point. And there's no way we can talk about farming without talking about cabbage. Each and every restaurant, they make coleslaw salads. At every party, people are making salads. Cabbage, it is needed in our day-to-day living. However, cabbage is also healthy. I've seen a lot of people are right now, they have very large land that they are utilizing in planting cabbage. It is very a lucrative business. I've seen this other young gentleman who planted nearly to 40,000 heads of cabbage, and they sell each head probably it's 5 rand. So if you do your maze very well, 40,000 head, each head 5 rand, it is a very you can see yourself that is a very lucrative business. You just need to monitor and to acquire knowledge on how to fight pesticides on your farm. So guys, these are the farming activities that are helpful today, guys. I feel like if we venture into having much land or not having much land, having much capital or not having much capital, each and every one of us can start something, can do something, and earn an extra living. Um, earlier of this video, I mentioned about a gentleman who was utilizing his back space of his house to plant fruit and vegetable for his shop. This gentleman goes to work, but it is an extra business that he is doing so that he can earn extra money. But you are just home sitting without doing anything, but just look at someone who's going to work, but he said, no, my salary is not enough, let me do something. Then he thought of doing venturing into a fruit and vegetable business. You at yourself right now, yourself home, you can utilize a small space that you have and start something for your own, so that you can also earn something for yourself. Here in Africa, we are blessed with land. Number two, we are very hardworking people. We can utilize our time to start something of our own, to start your own legacy, so that you can leave something for your own children, for your own family. Let's get up and do something. And remember, you need to start something today. Contemplating and saying, I'm going to start to do something next week, that's what is killing us as Africans. If you have an idea, you need to execute it. You need to start something, so that you do not cry in the next coming year saying, I should have started this, but because of contemplating and saying, I'm going to start this next year, but right now, look where I am. So let's start something. Let's utilize what we have. Minimum, that little man that we have, you can start something. That little land that you can have, you can start something. It's not about farming, but there's a lot that can be done for you to earn extra money. So as a concerned African citizen, I'm just concerned with sharing ideas with my fellow African youth and people out there in Africa who need ideas or who need something to start for themselves. So in the comment section, if you have any idea that you feel like we need to discuss in on our channel, you can just put on the comment section. Then we have a discussion and a topic about that particular area. But however, there are so many farming activities that can be ventured into, but these are the few that I've just gathered that I needed to share with you, my brothers and sisters, so that if we venture into, we might earn something. So until we meet again, I'm yours, Fideliza Manga, your concerned African citizen.